at.
Okay. So, I don't know where to start. There's so many things I need to touch on today. There's hopefully Tracy Marie comes on because there's some issues I have.
Yeah, you guys have a little. I think we need to negotiate some kind of broker of truce between you two.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But there's some issues that maybe she can straighten out for me too. But we'll get into all that. But this is the great Mark Puttenvink from Patriot Training Systems. We don't know which universe are you in today of your multi-million universes. Like, are you
the what is it? The Grok 3?
The Grok 3 universe?
Yeah.
That's owned by. So Mark and I guess we got to get a life a little bit. We spend our weekends researching stuff and
sending each other stuff.
I know. So anybody that's heard of Grok 3? So Grok 3 is another AI technology founded and owned by the great Elon Musk. And if you go, so there's a lot of people, I think, including me, I think you're in the same. We believe that there's a deep state, we call it, out there. People like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, the Rockefellers, and they're worth trillions and trillions of dollars combined. They own the large stock of all pharmaceutical companies, fast food restaurants, media outlets, everything.
Wheat fields in Ukraine.
Right, wheat fields in Ukraine, and they fund the majority of politicians' campaigns. Therefore, own the politicians. So, I think we all, if we like Trump, we like the stuff that he's doing. That's why Trump was elected. He said he was going to do these things. Elon Musk is all part of that. But then we find out with Grok 3 that so I should back up. So the idea is that we're kind of getting rid of that whole deep state mentality that the politicians are owned, which is not true. They're still owned. And if you look up the people that have invested with Elon Musk in his Grok 3, and you look at BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, all these other people. So.
But we have to explain what Grok 3 is. So people
understand. Yeah. Well, it's an AI. It's a highly advanced. Yeah.
And the fear is that that's believe it or not, could shift this into a parallel universe or something crazy like that with quantum mechanics. That fear. Then there's some physicists and theorists that are really concerned, like legitimately concerned. But then again, hey man, the way my Jets are, I'll go to any parallel universe. Maybe they're going to be better. They'll get a quarterback that can play this year. I don't know.
And so the theory with Microsoft has one called, what's it called? Majorana. Google has one called Willow. So there's these quantum chips. So I'm going to sound overly educated here. I'm really not.
Makes three of us.
Yeah. So the theory is like with traditional computers, they're controlled by bits that are either a 0 or a 1. With quantum computers, they are controlled by qubits that are either 0 or 1 or both. They could be both of those. And the theory is that they can do these things. So they've been asking these computers to solve problems that would take billions of years to solve with a normal computer, and they get done in a matter of minutes. They can get these things done. So and part of it,
I had one in school, man. I'll tell you what.
But part of it is, part of it is that it kind of predicts the future because it goes into these here's these different parallel universes, different scenarios, probabilities. Yeah. So in theory, okay, if I want to win the lottery tonight, I could now get my quantum computer, figure out what's the probability of certain numbers popping up.
So where do we get this Grok 3?
I know. You got to be able to afford to get it. That's the problem. So you got to win the lottery to get it.
Be able to get it.
Yeah. All right, let's make sure we say hello to our beautiful veterans out here, Mr. William Haynes in wonderful Chicago. Good wait for the show today. What's he got going there? Has he got a different picture up there today? Looking like a little military uniform going on or something? Yeah, looking good.
Bill, I watched an interesting thing on YouTube. The Chicago Blackhawks from, I think it was 1958.
Yeah.
And I forget who the player was. He's going through his equipment because there's like a documentary.
Right.
And then the guy goes, so what happens when you fight? You drop your gloves on the ice? He goes, yeah, this way I can get a better pair. Even then, the guys were idiots.
Oh, yeah. Morning, guys, in the waiting room. Thanks for coming in. Oh, in the waiting room, going surgery today.
Yeah. Godspeed today, Barry.
Can you imagine a poor surgeon? Like, he'll open up Barry Shelley. He'll open him up, it's like there'll be stuff coming out of like gold bars and everything.
Yeah,
like
or Gordie Howe.
Yeah. Yeah. But like the lucky surgeon, like the surgeon will be going out telling everybody, listen, I operated on Barry Shelley today. Right?
Yeah, it's an honor. But no, Godspeed, all kidding aside.
Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Yep. Good luck there, Barry. Magical creature, you veteran, you. All right. What was I going to say? Well, all right. I can't wait for Tracy Marie to get on, because I think what happens with Tracy Marie, we've talked about this before. She's probably on watching the show. Like, she's
waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, waiting.
Yeah.
Will they talk about me? Will they they set it up? It's all about Tracy Marie. So I thought about Tracy Marie today. I was making for breakfast day. I went a little bit off the board for breakfast food, and I had some ramen noodles with some spinach and onions. So sauteing up my spinach and onions, I put a little extra virgin olive oil in the pan, my cast iron skillet with that. Got me to thinking, like, okay, so what is an extra virgin olive? Like, isn't it like either you're a virgin or you're not a virgin?
I think it has to do with the process, the pressing of the olive.
Of the olive.
Yeah.
Oh, but but where does it come from? Like, a virgin. So, like, I guess there's different words.
Well, I mean, I think essentially it's as close to what they mean is as close to being picked right off the vine.
Oh, extra virgin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It hasn't been
that olive got right off the vine.
Yeah, right off the vine. Yeah.
Plucked and squashed.
Right. Yeah. It's basically what it means, I think.
Okay.
But you know what? We need Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah. Well, Wonder Woman will be here. Yes,
Yeah.
she can explain that for us.
Yeah.
Yep. And if Barry was at home in front of the computer, he'd do the research on that.
See, this is what's beautiful about how you and I, our brains work. We're trying to understand like artificial intelligence, and we at the same time we don't know what extra virgin olive oil is. At the same time,
we're talking about quantum.
We're not kidding anybody.
Yeah, no kidding. Or the positive way you can look at it, we're wide. There's a vast
breadth of our knowledge.
Right, breadth. Oh, I like that. Was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what word I had to look up today to make sure I had the proper meaning? Existential.
Existential. Yeah.
Yes.
It means
so basically, it means it's real.
And it's external.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So if somebody says it's an existential threat, so there's a real threat coming from another source.
Your way. Yeah.
Oh, because the politicians use that all the time.
All
right?
the time.
That's a great word.
Yeah.
Like Russia is an existential threat.
Yeah. It means real time. It's really there. It's not imagination, but really a threat.
We didn't know that. Like we didn't know. I mean, they had to tell us that.
Yeah.
Politicians.
I know.
Hold on. Wonder Woman's here. Hold on. You ask, you shall receive.
Yes.
Extra virgin is unrefined and cold pressed. Regular is refined
and heated. Yeah.
Looked it up for you.
Yeah. Thanks. When you heat something, obviously it changes the structure. Yeah.
Oh, really? So if you got heated up, does that change your structure? Like,
start swinging.
Start swinging. Yeah. That's funny. I get away from it for a while, but I go on my marches. I get away. I don't need my music. So I'll just leave. Mm-hmm. I'll have my phone with me, obviously, but I don't turn the music on. I'm just focused. But then I get into say, no, I want to get some pump up music going. Man, when I get I don't know about you, when I get the pump up music, by the time I get home, I've saved like hundreds of kids from terrorists and I've saved the world basically. Yeah. I've got that.
Get you going, man.
Yeah, I know.
We used to spar with James Brown on because it's a great beat, good rhythm. Yeah. And also, if you take a shot and you want to let the other guy know you're hurt, you start dancing like.
Yeah. That's the thing that, and again, I want to be careful because I know it's old school when I played compared to the new school now. Not just hockey players.
All athletes.
Yeah, but part of the you never want to let the other guy know that you're hurt.
Soccer player syndrome.
Oh yeah, like when they fall down blocking a shot. Like, no, don't let that guy know you hurt him.
You get back to the bench and you go, oh man.
Oh yeah, you look straight ahead and you're talking to the trainer.
You don't even hear him.
Yeah, you say to the trainer, "Don't come down here." And the trainer will go, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay, but get away from me."
Yeah, get away. Don't. Yeah. As I told you the other day that when I first started in New York, Rammer told me if we win, make 9 ice bags. If we lose, make 12 because psychologically, guys are more hurt.
Yeah, it's true. That is, yeah. Tom, Tina and I bought a cabin in southern Wisconsin recently, and our road is named Laidlaw Lane. Oh, nice. Man.
Whereabouts in Wisconsin? I was there a couple of years ago up in Eagle. Was it Eagle?
Or for that outdoor Eagle River. Was your Eagle River? Eagle River?
Eagle, I think it was Eagle River was the name of the town. Yeah.
Right.
That's the lake was Dollar Lake or something.
Right. Laidlaw Lane. How about that?
There you go.
I thought we had a bumpy road, right? It's not paved or anything like that. It's all kinds of ruts in it.
Yeah, it's rough.
Right. Yeah. People get stuck in it all the time. Like, got to call the tow truck. Let me see.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lorraine, you magical creature. How are you? Let me see. South of Sparta. Sparta, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Sparta, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
names, right?
Now, is
Great
that
name.
anywhere? Do you know when it's anywhere near where I was? Eagle Pass, Eagle River. Yeah, Eagle River. We were only like 15 miles from the border, I think.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was pretty cold up there.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you watch the Oscars?
No.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't
so
even imagine sitting there watching the Oscars. Like,
Oh, I watched it.
you did?
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's
Susan-
sad because I might
Susan
not
wants.
go now. I have
Hold
no
on.
idea who half the
Hold on.
people are.
Hold on. I'm sorry. We'll go back to the Oscars.
Hashtag quickie.
Does Susan want a quickie? Is that what she's saying?
No, I think it has to do with the virgin olive oil, maybe. Yeah. I think that's the implication. That it's
Or
quick.
maybe she's talking about Jonathan Quick. You think that's it?
Where's he fit into the conversation?
Oh, terrible. We got you, Susan. We got you. Yes, another shutout last night in his 800th start in the National
Yeah.
Hockey League. That's pretty cool. Apparently,
Rempe's hit clean. I don't see what the problem with that was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Problem is, it's him.
Again, so what the other guy do? He laid there like he was shot.
I know. There's a guy. Who's the tough kid for? I like a lot for Columbus.
Olivier.
Olivier. He
I
hit
love
some
that
guy the
kid.
other day with a hit from behind. Same thing. He barely hit the kid. The kid
Yeah.
goes down. Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of bad luck. So Boston and Pittsburgh are two teams that are really not doing great this year.
Mhm.
And it seems like the weekend games on ABC, they're always stuck with those two.
I know. That was a pretty rough game to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure at the start of the season, obviously, they say, okay, we want to get,
Boy, Pittsburgh's blue line. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
there.
and
Ooh,
goaltending's
and
terrible.
Didn't he have a hissy fit?
Who's that?
The goaltender. Didn't he have? He was yelling
Oh.
at the bench when he went off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What do we got here? I'll send you a picture when I go up. It's a gravel. We're close to it. So it's a gravel road. There you go.
Cool. All right.
Oh.
Awesome.
Oh, hold on. So the Wonder Woman is disagreeing with us here a little bit. Rempe got his head. I didn't see that.
I don't know. I have to take another look at it. I mean, they'll figure it out, but
Right.
I don't know.
Did you watch the outdoor game at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Pretty cold.
Yes.
Yeah. It was cool. Ohio State band there.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what it's come down to those outdoor games now is a lot of people say like maybe like around the country it's not as big a deal, but in that
Yeah.
city where they're having it,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a big deal still.
Sure
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes. Okay, so the Oscars.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so when you're watching there, you're with Beth, you're watching, obviously. Now you guys getting a bowl of popcorn, glass of wine, anything like that, or
No, neither.
Nothing.
Just
there's no snacks, nothing.
nothing. No.
No chips, guacamole,
Extra virgin olive oil.
extra virgin stuff you're drinking.
Shots.
Actually, apparently, it's very good for you. The extra virgin.
You're supposed to drink like a tablespoon a day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get a little bit of extra virgin inside you.
Yeah, exactly. Return.
I mean, but I gotta like that. So I guess it's one of those words too. There's multiple purposes for each word. So a virgin could be something that is not
Not been touched.
Not been touched.
I think that's the basic.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's where you're going. So basically, so if it's an extra virgin, it has not been squashed.
Yeah. So when you cold press it, there's no change to the oil. But when you heat anything up, it changes molecular structure. It's not the same.
So a virgin in the sense that what you're thinking about, because you're a pervert, with sex is
It
me.
had nothing to do with it.
But there's been no cold. But there's the same thing. There's been no cold pressing. There's nobody pressing on, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Exactly. Yeah.
you're terrible, man. I know. Seriously, we need to really talk about
Yeah.
it.
But this is going back to this is the problem with all these seed oils that RFK's talking about in our food. The way they press the seeds and the way they the changes them to basically rancid, toxic.
Right. The one thing I have learned, like they use the word a lot, processed. So like processed foods are bad for you, but not all processing is the same. It's not all equal.
Exactly. Well, that will just case in point would be the olive oil. So you have the extra virgin, which is cold pressed, and then you have the other olive oil is heated up, and it even comes into play with the color of the glass it's in.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Because
yes. I've read about that.
and that's with beer as well. That's why some bottles are brown, some are green.
Right.
It's the look, the taste we're looking at.
Right. Because I learned that when I was looking, I used that turmeric powder.
Oh yeah.
And people were saying, well, you don't get the process. Well, processing turmeric powder is basically just boiling the turmeric and then grinding it down. So It's really, so it's not that bad. Well, it's not bad at all, really.
Yeah, it's good. It's really strong anti-inflammatory.
Yes. And I also learned that you get like 20 times the benefit, supposedly, if you put a little black pepper in there with it. So,
Really
yeah, I guess it's not easy to absorb into your body, but the pepper helps you
helps it.
absorb it. I use black pepper. I think you could use any kind of pepper you wanted.
Well, pepper might be a vasodilator, so it makes.
Oh, hold on. Oh, you did that on purpose. Like you put, hold on. Basically, what you did there is like you put on some lingerie.
So what I do is I take
hold on, come on.
you for the opportunity.
You put on some lingerie.
Yeah.
You sprayed a little perfume on yourself, and then you walked in the room and you said, "What would you say?"
Vasodilator.
Vasodilator. Oh my God. I'll be thinking about that all day. Like you walking around saying vasodilator. That's just.
I'm thinking about getting a poster made.
What's that? Sorry.
A poster.
Yeah. Vasodilator.
What it means is it just opens up your blood increases. Yeah. When you get the pump, in the gym, the pump.
Yeah.
It's because the vasodilator. So, for instance, like, everybody's taking nitric oxide.
Right.
That's a vasodilator.
Right. Same. So I take citrulline, who's also the
vasodilator.
Yeah. Cool. Did I ever tell you I got into using those blood flow restriction bands? Did we discuss that?
They just freak me out, man. I don't know. There's something about it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I never tried them. I just don't like the whole concept.
Yeah. So people that don't know, the concept is, so if you're working your bicep, you get these blood flow restriction. You use any kind of bands, and you squeeze it tight enough. So what is it? The veins have the blood going into the muscle, and the arteries have the blood going out.
I think that's it. And it just.
So what it does is it compresses the artery. Let's say the artery sends the blood to the muscle. So it's the vein coming out. So you're blocking the blood so it stays in the muscle while you're working out. So the theory then is once you have done the workout, you let the band go, and the blood flow just takes off. And
I don't know what the science behind that is. I hope there is some, because it's pretty gross to me.
Yeah, I don't think it really helps the long-term muscle growth. It feels great when you do it because you get this huge pump, right?
I wonder if it jacks up your blood pressure too, because you're stopping the flow. Like if you cut off a hose, it's going to build up.
Probably, yeah. Hold on. Deb's kitchen on here. She's got call the fire department. Getting hot. When you start saying vasodilate.
That's always a winner.
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend? You did a lot of research. We were just
we were in school this weekend.
I know, right? It was kind of cold yesterday, so it's a good day to.
Yeah, I had a couple of guys to train in the morning, so other than that, I just came home and just chilled. Saturday, I don't know what I do.
It's cold on Saturday too. It got cold later in the day, right? Yeah.
Oh, it was warm, and then all of a sudden I went in the store. I came out, and the wind picked up. It was like I think it even snowed a little bit. So,
that's nice. Okay, so we were discussing quantum computing, quantum mechanics. Very interesting subject. Like it really makes you start thinking. There's a lot of different videos out there, and as we've learned with videos, you can't always believe everything you see just because it's on a video. Do you believe in these theories that people are actually? It's the unknown. It could be this fantastic thing, this quantum computing, or it could be kind of scary.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't understand really, truly. I get the general concept, but for sure. It's like everything else. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. It depends who gets their hands on it. But I think the fear is that they'll get their own thought process going, and they're going to work against us. And I can understand.
So the concern is they could actually change reality, so that again, like we kind of joked around before about the lottery ticket, but that is kind of the concern that you can then figure out. Like what's apparently happening is they'll input a question into the computer. Before the question is fully inputted into the computer's already developing an answer because it's going on the presumption of what you're really going to ask. It's got that kind of intelligence to it. Yeah. But I guess that's the same as spell check on your phone, right? It's kind of so that.
I mean, we've been using AI all along. It's just now at a point where it's. So I think I read that there's some physicians that are using it now for diagnosis.
Yeah.
So there's some really great benefits, but the scary thing is, you get the Terminator.
So, but think about the possibilities with parallel universes, though. Mm-hmm. So, like so last Monday, you and I could have been in totally different universes than we're in right now, but we wouldn't know that we're in different universes. We only know the universe we're in. Right? Mm-hmm.
So there's hope. I mean, for the Jets, there's hope for everybody. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Deb's coming up with a good one here too. Predictive analytics. Oh, Deb's walking around in the lingerie right now too.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but that's exactly what it is. Predictive, because you said it's always about accumulating all the probabilities and coming up with a hierarchy of what's going to be.
Yeah. They say that if we continue on the path we're on now, the computers will become more intelligent than us at approximately somewhere between 2030 and 2035. That's the prediction.
Personally, that happened to me about 12 years ago.
I know. When they developed the slide rule.
Yeah, exactly.
The calculator.
The abacus.
Oh, God, I know.
Yeah.
It is fun, though. I get a kick out of that. And I never would have said that before about like studying stuff, that just randomly studying stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, it's so now, like years ago, you had to go to a library. You had to open up, now you just open up your iPad and you can research anything you want. It just becomes an issue of what to believe because there's so much misinformation.
Yeah, and not getting sucked into thinking just because somebody says, or it could be a very intelligent person who is just wrong about their. They just made.
I think this just question everything.
Yeah,
question.
Totally. Yeah, research. Yeah, research it over and over. Get one opinion, then go find another. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Hold on. This is a breakthrough. So I've been big into my sourdough.
Yeah.
Right. So this has been a process now. So sourdough, the fermenting process is basically just the water and flour working together with oxygen to ferment and get this, healthier version of making bread, right? Lowers your glycemic level, glycemic index, as you have taught me either way. Now, so what I've done, though, I haven't had good results as far as, so they call it proofing in the bread industry instead of rising. And I haven't been patient enough. I haven't let the bread proof long enough. So I've been adding a little bit of yeast into the sourdough starter, but into the mixture with the sourdough starter, which apparently they call that hybrid. So it's a little bit of the normal bread with yeast in it, and the leavener being so I'm going to stop doing that. I said, so now I've started making my homemade sourdough bagels and everything. Oh man, unbelievable.
Good.
Oh,
so this is now more quantum entanglement, because ever since you over a period of time talking about sourdough, every time I go somewhere on the internet, there's a lot of sourdough stuff coming up.
Right. Oh, the computers are good too. So I've been fantasizing, like, I want to get this ranch, right? So a ranch where we can save the dogs and horses in particular. But part of it is I got to build a gym. So I was online the other day, and I know this is no new news, but it was just fascinating. So I was researching different, good gym equipment to build a gym. Now on Facebook, every advertisement I get, it's all like gym equipment.
Yeah. So it really isn't quantum entanglement. It's just Facebook. Same thing with me. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean,
yeah, but isn't it amazing though? Because I wasn't on Facebook analyzing. I was on.
There's been times where we're just having a conversation, Beth and I, and the phone happens to be nearby, and then it'll come up on my Facebook. Yeah,
I know,
more than once.
Like any notion that we have privacy at all, it's gone. Right?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my take on it. I think you agree, but you add to it. So there's a whole history that I didn't realize. I think you did more than I did. I went back and researched this weekend. So going back to the USSR with the former Soviet Union with Gorbachev, and it was so all these breakaway states, they called them, like Latvia and all these different places. One of them being Ukraine, used to be part of the USSR, and then they broke away. And so Gorbachev came to the first Bush that was president at the time, like in 1991, I think, or whatever it was, something like that, and said to him, listen, I'll withdraw like 450,000 troops. I acknowledge what's going on. My country now is not what it used to be, all that kind of stuff. All I ask is that you not let NATO, the North American Treaty Organization, what's called?
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
Move any farther east to then basically surround Russia from Russia's western border. And he got the promise from the United States and Bush that they would not allow that to happen. Well, obviously that did happen. They didn't follow through on that promise. And NATO, so basically all these countries obviously didn't move, but they then joined NATO. So the fear is that NATO countries could then have the United States, for instance, come into one of their countries because they're all part of NATO together and put up an Air Force base, whatever, right beside Russia.
Yeah.
So Russia's I don't want that to happen. So that's when they went into Crimea, part of that. And there's a whole thing about the farmland, the minerals, the water rights, all that kinds of stuff, being landlocked and everything from the West. So there's a whole hit. Not that Putin is right invading another country, but there's a whole reason for why he did it. And part of it is our failure to follow through on the promises we made to Gorbachev, right?
Well, they're still not in NATO, but they've revived those talks, and that's what really is.
Well, let's do it again. So Ukraine,
they are not in. Ukraine is not in NATO,
right? Correct.
But they've revived talks and consideration of it,
right?
And so that you could get understand why that threatens Putin. On the other hand, the United States said to Ukraine, if you give up your nuclear weapons, right, we'll provide security for you against Russia and the aggression. Right. So there's a lot of moving parts.
That wasn't when Trump was in office, though, right? Was that Biden?
No, that was, I think,
Obama?
prior to that.
Obama
might have been Obama, but in any event, so now you have a lot of moving pieces. Everybody's lying to each other.
Yeah.
And again, it all boils down to what? Money, as all things do. We only go to war for money. There's the minerals. It's the breadbasket of the world, really. Yeah. And who owns those wheat fields? BlackRock.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think I mentioned more than once on this little show we do here that.
Hold on. Little show we do.
Well, for you and I, it's nothing because it comes easy.
Okay.
In Poland, they were blocking Ukrainian shipment of wheat because they were dumping it at a lower price than the Polish farmers. So there's a lot of fleas falling off dogs over here.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. So this is all about Putin just being a bad guy trying to invade Ukraine. There's so much more to it than that. Right?
There's a quite a long history of aggression between Russia, Soviet Union, Ukraine, and I mentioned to you that the woman who attempted to assassinate Stalin, and Stalin was probably one of the most brutal, ruthless dictators ever walked the earth. She was Ukrainian, so this goes back a long time.
Right.
And the problem I have with the media, and then now everybody's saying I stand with Ukraine. That's fine, but it's not the only conflict. I mean, since 1996, 6 million people have died in the civil war in the Congo. Right. 6 million. That's a lot of people. Yeah. And just the other day, there was a horrific incident in the Congo where they beheaded 70 people in a church. But the point is, you have to say so we just keep this going forever.
Yeah.
Because there seems to be a stalemate here. So let's try to negotiate. And what is it? Look, you were an agent for 22 years. What does negotiate mean? Somebody's taking a haircut here.
Yeah. Well, and to what you're saying, there's a lot of people who want the conflict to continue because they make money. All these money-making businesses.
Why do you think the stock market's going wild?
Yeah.
It's all defense contracts.
And I chose to become a citizen of the United States. And I know you're a very proud citizen of the United States. So we're not criticizing the United States at all. But our country is not faultless in the history of, like you look at even like Cuba. Like Cuba is, the people who live in Cuba are living in a third world country at best.
Fourth world.
Yeah. And it's because, go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, where Russia was going to put a base there in Cuba. And the United States said, no, you're not. And so that's the same thing that Russia is saying about Ukraine. We don't want Ukraine to allow
our back door. Yeah. And that's primarily, if you look at other conflicts like Pakistan and India have and that's another area of the world people really need to pay attention to. They're both nuclear countries. Right. And they've come close to it pretty a lot.
Okay, recently. So here's the thing, though. So all the nuclear stuff.
Yeah.
So I think like Russia and the U.S. both have approximately 5,000 nuclear warheads.
I think they have 6,000. We're about the same.
Right. Yeah. So, but I know they're saying, okay, well, we get the same as you. I'm as tough as you are on the street kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. But it is awful to say this. But is anybody? I guess anything can happen. But once somebody starts to use a nuke,
it's over.
Yeah, but the whole world's over at that point.
Right. So that's why I think the concern more is a rogue state like Iran, who's, their politics are dictated by fanaticism.
Right.
So they may not, so if they lob a nuke at, God forbid, anywhere, it's going to be a problem because then you have a conflagration of it just explodes.
And again, a lot of those religions believe they're not only willing to die for their cause.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, because then they go get their 50 virgins.
71.
71 virgins?
71 or 72.
I can't handle one. God.
Well, are they extra or just regular?
Well, see, I wouldn't. So how do you find out if they're extra
Like
virgins or not?
Yeah, it's like olive oil. No, but
You can't
seriously,
just ask them, right? Do you
the
go up to a
whole
woman and say, "Are you an extra virgin or just a virgin?"
but going back to this whole conflict, you know, Tim Burchett, who's I think he's a senator from Tennessee, he's was on with one of the talking heads over the weekend. He said, "Well, listen," and the talking head said, "Well, listen, we're sending that money, but it's coming back because it's coming back for munitions and war equipment to be built here in the United States." He said, "So you're willing to have people die just so we can have our stocks go up and continue building?"
I know.
You know, and those are all no bid contracts, so somebody's really making a lot.
We've talked about this before. That Pence, the former vice president with Trump, he made a comment after when Trump came out and said that Zelensky was a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
Pence made a comment that any peace agreement has to be based on the truth. I said, okay, so if Trump has to lie to save tens of thousands more people from dying, you're saying he shouldn't be doing it because he has to lie? No.
That's the old question: would you assassinate Hitler's father if you had the chance, or something like that?
Oh.
You know, if you could go back in time. But here's the thing too that I was thinking about. So we were in Vietnam for a period of time, and eventually it just became communist anyway.
Yeah.
Because we did the same thing. We got involved in an area of the world we had no idea. We never fought in the jungle.
Yeah.
And they just got done fighting the French for 20 years. So this was like generational. Like the kids are born there and they know what to do with a claymore, right? So we went there not having any idea what to do, and it was a bad outcome. And in the same way, it's you got to look back at that. Why were we there? Was it really to prevent communism?
I know.
Or was there something more to it? And
it was Afghanistan, Iraq.
The problem is, it's the old story. You know, they take our young men and women, a bunch of old guys that have billions of dollars anyhow, are fighting each other. So it's kind of ridiculous.
What is it? I saw a quote. Somebody said, "Wars are a bunch of old men who know each other." Mm-hmm. Telling a bunch of young men to don't know each other to go and die for the country.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
I tell you, you can say what you want about Trump, like him or not, but anybody that has the power he has that wants to stop the fighting, stop the killing, you know,
I don't understand why there's even an argument about that.
I know. Well, again, it goes back to the money, right? So
yeah. I mean, we had and going back to Vietnam, we had the Paris Peace Accords, which was there was nobody protesting.
Yeah.
In fact, we wanted the war to end. We had all the protests here, anti-war protests. You know, that was. It just amazes me how easily this whole "I stand with Ukraine" people put it out there. Everybody feels like I got to do this because if I don't, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
That's fine. I understand that. You know, but how do you stand with Ukraine? To continue slaughtering people, or do you stand with Ukraine to say I want to work out a peace agreement?
And we continue, and I say we because we're part of the United States, and I guess this is a worldwide issue. We get into these things, it becomes an issue. So a while ago, it was Black Lives Matter. It was, the police, like you couldn't even watch cops on TV anymore. The old TV show that faded away. Nobody cares about it anymore.
So I blame it on the internet. I blame it on social media because now people, because of keyboard warriors, right? They feel it's okay to own a ski resort in Vermont. And put a big sign up saying, J.D. Vance, you're not welcome. You could argue with his politics, and that's the definition of fascism. I know. Screaming about fascism.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you could disagree with his politics, but let the man go ski with his family. We lost our sense of reality here.
Yeah, if anything, invite him in. Say, listen, can I sit down and talk?
Let's have a chat with him. Look at my opinion.
I want to learn.
To do that, and then I think he got attacked in the airport right in front of his family. You know, it's to the point where it's such. They've created this divide here. You're either on Team A or Team B, and nobody even thinks about the possibility of a Team C in the middle going, guys, relax.
Well, they want it that way, though. Okay, so as much as we like what Trump's doing, cutting the budget, getting rid of the fat and all that kind of stuff, Musk's doing all that. The one major thing that they haven't even discussed is insider trading amongst politicians. So they have this. So as most people know, just quickly, so we're not allowed, if we have information about a company, and we now trade stock that's going to benefit us and make money. And we've used this insider information that nobody else has. That's illegal. You go to jail for that kind of stuff, or potentially go to jail for that. politicians have made it so they're allowed to do that. They have this thing called the Stock Act. I think it's called. It was started in 2012, which is supposed to control all that. But the people that are monitoring the Stock Act are the same politicians that are breaking the law all the time.
So the wolves are guarding the hen house.
Yeah. So it's so to me, as long as that's allowed to go on, the gravy train for the politicians continues until you stop that. And that's like that to me, that in itself to me really, like, if my theory is, and I think Musk kind of touched on this the other day, we should actually pay the politicians more money. But we state to them, listen, okay, this is what you're going to make. And every decision you're going to make is based on what is right for the country, not what lines your pockets. Mm-hmm. So that they then limit and give them a great pension after, so that they really don't know if they work for 4 years or 8 years or whatever it is, they're then taking care of the rest of their lives. But they can't then go make money off the decisions they made while they were in office, right? So to me, that gets rid of a lot of that.
Well, if you think about this, the term junior senator, what does that imply? That means you have no juice.
Oh,
right. That means there's a group of people that run the show, and you're a junior senator. Right. You don't have any juice. You got to earn your stripes.
Right.
Well, no, that man or woman was elected by his or her state to represent and should have the same amount of decision making. So
it's kind of like calling him an extra virgin, right? Like
that's what he is.
Right. Yeah. You're not giving anything.
And this is the thing too. What we saw with Zelensky and Trump apparently goes on all the time behind closed doors, whether it's Zelensky and Trump or this one and that one.
Sure.
And really, how much does it differ? I mean, in great part, the mob sitting down, having to sit down.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, I'll give you that territory there to do your gambling, and then you got.
Sure.
It's all about money.
Well, people don't know that when you and I are behind the scenes. We're fighting with each other and everything. Sure. But we have a responsibility. We come on the show. We need to show a united front. We need to show the masses. Yeah. Because there's somebody on another planet out there that's watching the show going, okay, as long as Mark and Tom are getting along together, everything's fine.
Just in this universe.
Right. Yeah. Although I did watch a video. What's it called? There was some planet they found that they claim is most like Earth, like MK6 or something. I don't know what it was, but there's some.
Yeah, there's. I think there is one in our solar system they've identified. But
it's hard to imagine, though, that this really gets you thinking. If you really sit down and think about it, of all these planets and stars, millions and billions, and we learn more and more how the universe just goes on and on forever, that there's no other planet like Earth. I know.
It's pretty obnoxious to think that way.
Yeah.
Pretty, like we're it. Yeah. That's it. There's no other possibility. We're the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of foolish. Yeah.
Then it goes into all those different theories, right? Like, okay, so there's some theories that people have. There's a name for it too, where the rest of the world. So, like in Mark, we'll talk about Mark Puttenvink's life. Mm-hmm. So, in your life, so in that room you're sitting in right now in this podcast, you're living that world. Now, the rest of the world could just be on hold.
It's a Mandela effect.
No, Mandela's effect is when a bunch of people all think the same thing, but it's false.
Oh, okay. So this
okay. We got from Nelson Mandela, but it was there's another term for it too. It's basically thinking that the whole world isn't really active until Mark Puttenvink, and this is your world. Now I would have my world, right? So and it comes to the whole theory that you think the world revolves around you. Right?
Well, going back to AI, that's the fear that they'll have consciousness, which they don't have now.
Right.
In other words, they don't have emotion. They don't, they can't appreciate music. They don't have pain. They don't know. There's certain things. And that's another question I have is, things that everything in science boils down to a mathematical equation, right? All the physics, all the quantum theory and all that stuff. But what's the mathematical equation for pain? To feel what it feels physically to feel pain. There isn't one. That's what separates us.
There's a funny article, I think it's in the New York Post, where he's talking about this sex doll who's like an AI sex doll. Mm-hmm. And she had learned to compliment she had learned to compliment the guy. She says, "Oh, that 2 minutes was fantastic."
The quote, right, positive.
It was. I'm reading the article, and it was just hysterical, because that's what every guy would want, right? He wants some girl to.
Imagine if they had ones that went the other direction.
That's it.
Yeah. No, not tonight.
So some sadistic guy who wants to get beat up by a girlfriend,
or just denied. Yeah.
Oh God,
a headache.
But that's where we're going to be down the road. Like you
We're
don't have,
there now, pretty close to it. Yeah.
yeah. So you don't even have to have a girlfriend like that. You just, and then I guess they get far enough down the road, they can even give birth.
Well, I think in Japan, it is going back probably 10 years. There were guys were marrying like on their phone, like an emoji or something like that. Actually having a wedding and stuff.
And it's kind of sad, but didn't one guy commit suicide because he
think so, yeah,
got
because
rejected by his
left him for the eggplant emoji. Yeah.
It's terrible. Oh, but that's it. Okay, but if you think about it, so when did computers get going? Like 1980s?
No, they're around in the 40s, but they were different. I mean, the when you say computers, like what we're used to now, like a personal computer and all that kind of stuff, PCs. Yeah, I would say
80s, 90s.
Yeah, middle 80s.
So let's say 1990 get going. So that means like 35, 40 years we've had computers. Mm-hmm. But if we go back to like 1980, we'd be looking at, we looked at today, we'd be going, oh, no, there's no way. Like we're not going to have cell phones. We're not going to have all this stuff.
Oh yeah. No, right. Everything we have now is
right. So now you go forward another 35, 40, 50 years when you start talking about quantum computers and AI and all this. There's going to be stuff that we like today we'd look and go, there's no way that's going on.
So Kurzweil, who's a futurist, he said that computational power doubles every 2 years. So whatever you have now, in 2 years, the next generation of computers out at that point will have twice the amount of computational power. Right. And you think about it, like we went from these big cell phones that were this big to flip phones, and you had to hit the same button 3 times to get the letter you wanted. Now you can talk into it.
I know.
The power that's in our little iPhones now is more than that it took all, if we went to the moon, all the computational power back then.
Going to the moon.
So
like they showed up pictures of the rover, the thing they drive around on the moon. Like where the heck did that come from? That couldn't fit in the
I know. Well, it was waiting for them when they got there.
They sent it up ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in that story for sure.
Like I start to think about it, like they actually, somebody posted, they showed a picture of the rover. Now I'm sure they could have doctored it the way they wanted to, but basically there's this car.
Yeah.
And there's no, you could barely fit 2 or 3 people in the spacecraft.
So my theory on it is it was a big PSYOPs operation that was extremely successful, but it was to freak the Soviet Union out.
Right. Oh yeah. Now some people will say, well, it had to be real because if it was staged, you had to have so many people that are in on it. Somebody would have talked.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, the more and more things happen.
Well, it's also maybe it's possible they really thought they were working on a lunar rover. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was only a set amount of people that knew it was all just
sure. And these people are thinking maybe they kill one of their buddies, and then they say to them, "Listen, you see what happened to Bill over there? So you keep your mouth shut. The same thing's going to happen to you."
Right. Yeah. Who knows? But I mean, it's possible that it's not fake because there's a lot of different things. Like if you set off an Apollo rocket, where did it go? I mean,
right. Right. Well, I mean, but it can still. You're saying it has to go somewhere. It can still be floating around in space, though, right?
I guess. Yeah. Well, there's certainly a lot of. So some people say we've never been to space, but we have satellites up there that we use every day for everything we do. So that's a fact. I don't know. Maybe we did go, but there's just a couple holes in that story for sure.
Yeah. But it is kind of like the Virgin thing. It's either you're a virgin or you're not. So it's either we went or you didn't.
Yeah. Well, Virgin thing's pretty clear cut. You are or you're not. But here's a better question: how many younger people think that Lance Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon?
I'm thinking to myself, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
There's another thing, and I know, like he did a lot of good things for the cancer patients and raised a lot of money.
He did.
But he's remembered because he did steroids.
And he lied. He lied big time about it.
He lied.
But they all do. Listen, you and I, we both know that if we remove steroids or any kind of PEDs from professional sports, and I gotta see like a 125-pound guy play blind.
I know. And it's like some people have an argument. They say, well, those athletes are influencing young men and women to do steroids. Well, you're right. So first of all, maybe that in a rare case that happens, but where are the parents? They're the ones you shouldn't allow right. I for one, got to tell you, if somebody is educated on the subject and wants to do steroids,
so it affects different sports differently. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know what the percentage in the NHL is in
Yeah.
the National Hockey League. It's there for sure.
Yeah, sure.
It's probably not as high a percentage as football for sure. And now baseball seems to be. You're talking the possibility of making enough money to make sure your grandchildren are done.
Right. Well, and it's the thing with baseball. If you want to be a good hitter, steroids really don't help you hit the ball. They may help you hit the ball further.
Right.
Right. But you still have to hit the ball.
So there's an inherent risk, right? But there's also an inherent risk of going in circles at 200 miles an hour in a car.
Yeah, totally. There's inherent risk just getting up in the morning with all the chemicals in the air and the water.
This house, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Wonder Woman. I forgot about this. Barry Beck is going in for another surgery.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it has been in for another surgery. Our buddy, Mr. Barry Beck. I think I mentioned it to you too. October 15th, I believe, is still the date where they're putting together dinner for Mark Pavich's foundation.
Yeah.
Here.
What are you doing in the city here?
Yeah, they're doing it at Chelsea Piers on the west side there. Yep.
Yeah.
We have our skate with the Greats here for the Ronald McDonald House there. So it's so it's just in the planning stages now, but they seem to have a real good team of guys. A lot of Harvard guys. So
I almost went there.
Harvard.
Yeah, I was in. I didn't have the $75 application fee. I only had 74. It was the only thing that kept me out. Yeah.
We were up at Brown University. So John Tonelli was coaching his son's team, and he asked me to coach the Westchester Express.
Yeah.
It's a nationally ranked team, really good
program. I remember playing against my son playing against him.
Yeah. So he was really good. So he put a trip together for a weekend. We went up to Cornell and Brown. Was it Brown? I think it was Brown. Or Colgate. Cornell. So, and my college coach did that. My junior coach did that as well. So it's really kind of showcasing the players to give them a chance to go to college. So this one dad on the team, fantastic guy, real blue collar guy though. Like I can't remember what he did, but a great guy. His son was a great kid, really worked hard. But they're blue collar people. Some of the rest were like whatever. So the dad was around the bus, and the dad said, "We're at Colgate. We're driving by Colgate." He says, "My son's going to be there someday." And everybody's kind of like, the kid's not great at school or whatever. He says, "Yep, he's going to be cutting the lawn there someday."
I love it.
And the dad said it about his own son, so it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he was, and you know how that goes. He was a good enough guy. You can tell.
Well, there was a kid that played in New Jersey. He played in the OHL. Real good defenseman. He ended up playing in the Rangers organization for a bit. I won't mention his name, but I remember his dad telling me at the ring that now my kid's not real bright. He's going to go play junior in Canada. He's not going to school. Yeah.
Let me see here.
Well, I had a kid in college, right? And it was a freshman kid.
You had a kid, so you had a child, illegitimate?
Yes, I did. Yeah, his name was Sean. My son. But another kid. And I didn't know like his makeup mentality, his mentality, right? So it's right in front of the bench. He hits a kid. They have words. And the kid goes, "What's your GPA?" And my guy goes, "I can't even spell GPA." Boom, he just smashed. I said, "All right, he gets extra ice." Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. If Joe must have had any former players, okay, that'd be a great subject. Who of the former teammates or guys that you knew in the NHL that were from any other country that should be deported back to their country?
Oh, I can think of one right away. Let's just say, I think you know who it is, too.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sharp as a cue ball.
That's funny. There's a few of them. There's a few of them.
A couple of them.
Oh, it is funny. That's a funny subject, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny. We talk about this too, and I see them now at alumni events, and they're just totally unique.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, okay, have they had brain damage from all the injuries, or were they really like that back when I played
with them? Yeah.
Right. It's hard to tell.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, probably. Right. In fairness, yeah. Oh God. Danny Erickson, he's going to chime in here. The upper end Tom. No, not Budweiser. I never drank Budweiser. No.
What did you drink in college?
Well, up there when I went to school, they had it was Pabst Blue Ribbon. There was there's also other stuff like Olympia beer.
That's a Michigan beer.
Yeah.
Up to that area.
I actually, I don't know if I ever talked about this, but after my I think freshman year, I worked at a beer distributor in Marquette, Michigan. So I actually drove the truck, went to the
Jesus.
I went to the dirty old bars, where the miners worked.
Yeah. They give you a uniform and everything?
No. and we would do like kept me in great shape because you got to go to these old places and you're taking the kegs of beer
Kegs,
downstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm carrying these, what are kegs, like 100 pounds, whatever, carrying
Easily.
them around.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
hard
I
to
was-
hold.
Yeah,
It's pretty
I was in
big.
good
Yeah.
shape. But what they and they were okay with this. So there's always be some leftover, like because you see the order, and as you get going, you're responsible now with filling your truck to make sure you got enough there to complete the order. But there's also you put some extra on, really, because you want to make sure something drops or whatever,
Right.
you got extra. So at the end of the day, there's extra. So we would go store it. We found a little place to hide it. So by the time the summer was done, well, we must have had hundreds of cases.
20
of beer.
kegs in there.
Oh
Yeah.
God! So that was our beer for we were just. It was funny, but they were a great bunch of guys too. So they had a cooler where if in the shop, if something fell, like and then broke the bottles, they would put it in a cooler. So at the end of the day, we would all go sit in the cooler and drink all the ice cold beer.
There you go. Yeah. Summertime. That's what, lifting a case. Man, you got jacked. What was your train? A beer. What?
It's all the bad things we did that were good for us, right?
That's right.
Someday we will listen to a hit song with a singer and band aren't really human beings. Yeah. Can we already do that now, though? Already? Yeah, I guess we could, right?
Yeah, we watched a documentary on how they actually put like pop songs together now.
Yeah.
It's all like on computer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still they perform it, but a lot of it,
Yeah.
they're looking for a certain beat or certain whatever, and it just
Yeah. I've heard of the band Gorillaz. I have not, Deb.
no.
Like even after the first period for the outdoor game the other day, they had that band on. Like, what the heck were they?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even understand the words they're saying.
Yeah.
And that says something about my age.
Mick Jagger was at the Oscars last night.
I saw that. It was like a 30-year-old
like
girl.
81, 82.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
he
a
looks
30-year-old
great.
girlfriend. Yeah,
Hey, why
yeah,
not?
like
Yeah,
pretty
He
good.
looks great.
Yeah,
They say he like when he does a concert on stage, it's 7 miles of walking and running around.
it's all right, eh?
Yeah.
And
a bit of a health freak, too.
why do women feel it's important to have the top part of their breast, as much of their breast showing in the dress? Like,
Because they know you and I will look.
but when I was younger, I would say, I make myself not look now. Just say, no, I'm not looking. If you want me to look there, I'm not going to look.
Well, but it's obvious that's what they're looking for.
Right.
It's attention grabbing.
Ah.
Human eyes.
Like, where's it must, do you think they must have, like, maybe there's some computer simulation, they know where the nipple is. They say, okay, we're going to get right down. So like,
Well, I'm sure they can 3D, 3D printers do a gown. That's just to what you want. Yeah.
Because you think to yourself, well, the nipple's got to be there soon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Speaking of these 3D printers, how do they build a gun? I can't. Mine's always
I
out
know.
ink, number one.
but it's true though. I know you're
Yeah, how do
joking.
they make a gun? Like,
I know. But
Yeah.
how do you make it so like there's a hole, like so the bullet, like
Yeah.
I just don't understand the whole logic of that. Yeah.
but apparently there's a lot of them that call them ghost guns because you can't be traced now.
Yeah.
Like on the street. Yeah, it's a problem.
Did they ever accuse Tom of being up? No, never. But I'll tell you what, if I was to play again, I'd
You'd
definitely,
be huge. Would you play at like 218, something like that?
it's about 210, 215 between
You
there.
probably would have been 235.
Yeah, totally.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's very true. Because now after the game I was done, I put on more muscle and I was,
Yeah.
it was fine. I wasn't fat, but I realized I was too heavy. I wouldn't be able to skate. And if I was able to do like even testosterone would have. So
Yeah.
people that don't know what I say is I want to be, and Mark and I are the same way. We want to be careful. We don't want to influence people to do something they don't want to, or shouldn't be doing. But testosterone is in your body naturally.
Mhm.
And now, when you're an athlete, like in your 20s, your testosterone level should not be dropping.
Way up.
But if you enhance your testosterone level, it increases, it helps you recover from injuries, helps
Training.
it helps your training. We did think there was guys that were on it that were more, they became more aggressive
Mhm.
because that was the theory anyways, whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Well, it's not even like bodybuilding. If you look at Arnold in that era, those guys were doing steroids, but nowhere. Like now, they were doing maybe decaturabone or
Yeah.
something like that. But now these guys do like 12 of them. They stack them,
Oh, yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
the new one is Trembling, which
Oh.
is, you ever see those bulls that are nothing but muscle?
Yeah.
That's what they inject them with Trembling.
Oh, sorry.
Now the bodybuilders are doing it.
Yeah.
And, it's a gray area, but for a professional athlete, like, certain sports, you got to do it, man.
I know.
Football being one.
Right. It's almost like if you see a guy get caught doing drugs now, you're thinking, man, he's stupid. Like he shouldn't get caught doing it. It's okay. It's drugs to mass.
You don't really hear about it much anymore, though.
No.
Did you notice that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think most leagues now understand. Listen, like offensive linemen, defensive linemen, they're doing it. It's just the fact of life. There's no way. It's not possible. Like, and you can see it. If you can see it in the jawline of most men,
Sure.
they've been doing testosterone for any period, or HGH, or in both. You can see the jaw, like Joe Rogan. He admits he does testosterone, and you can see it in his jawline, right? So,
I mean, so now you're talking the TRT, the testosterone replacement therapy. That is meant for, let's say your level is like 180. Anything under 200 is kind of not good, dangerous, really. And they'll bring it back up to between 600 and 800. Right?
Yep.
But there's a lot of guys at the doctor will get it up to 1200. And,
sure.
And then they say, well, I'm just doing TRT. Well, you are, but you're doing a little bit too much.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot. There are doctors who that's all they do. They prescribe HGH.
I mean, I'm not judgmental, but you go to any gym, and you're going to see guys our age or in their 50s that are totally jacked up.
Yeah, totally.
It's obvious, and they'll tell you I'm doing TRT. Well, again, you are. You're not at 600 to 800. You're at 1200.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the best place to buy. I know it's risky, but if you go to a gym and you get to know people you got to be careful. You can't walk up to some guy that's all jacked up and say, "Listen, can you get me some testosterone?" But if you get to be friends, that's where most of these guys buy their own.
And the reality is, you don't even need to do that anymore. There's multiple locations here in New Jersey. I don't know if it's legal in Connecticut, but you go in, they do your blood work.
Oh yeah.
And let's put it this way: nobody gets sent home without a prescription.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, everybody's got to do that. I think testosterone, it's okay if you get older, but you do need to monitor your blood levels, right?
Well, the thing with TRT is also this: that once you go on it, you're on it for a lifetime.
See, I've heard some differing opinions on that. There's some people that believe that over time, if you're on it and then you get off it, over time you get your levels back again. Now that still may be a lower level than what you need to be on. You're back to where you were. Right.
So everybody's different. Everybody's reaction to it is different. But I will say this much: the higher up the line you go, when you pass 800 level, that's not. It's going to be really difficult for your system to turn back on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Let me see here what Danny Erickson has to say. Use a 3D printer to make a figure of late night. What's the promise? Okay. You know what's funny? So I can't help it sometimes. I watch old games. I played Fist when I was younger, and I like I can actually carry the puck a little bit. And I think But then after a while, then I make a mistake and I turn it off. Yeah. It's like
listen, you're too hard. So I played 11 years in the National Hockey League.
It is
half
funny.
of 1% of people can ever say that.
Do you ever I don't think this is a good or bad thing necessarily. Do you ever sit to yourself and not criticize yourself and look back and have remorse or whatever? Do you ever say to yourself, man, I could have done this or I could have done that? Or and again, not saying that your life isn't great the way it is, but do you ever look back at your life like that?
I think everybody does because it's easy.
Yeah.
You're in a different place now, regardless of your age. And perspective, looking back is always questionable. Right?
Yeah. Like, why did I guess like marriage and stuff like that, but the marriage doesn't work.
Beth every morning wakes up, looks at me, why did I do this?
But one thing she says, no, come on. She says, how did I get so lucky?
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She might give you a different story.
So like with you and Beth, like, were you guys big on when you met each other, really sitting and discussing each other about your beliefs? You just learned about each other?
Yeah. You learn on the job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So some women really want to like fill out the questionnaire, right? They've got all the questions.
Some do. Yeah. I think it's also where are we in our age? Because when you're younger, women maybe want to have children and get married, but maybe don't want to have children. So that's different. You get to be our stage of life. It's pretty much figured out what's going on. Right. Hopefully.
And you're much more like, okay, either this is going to work or not. Like there's no messing around, right? It's like,
yeah, pretty much. I think that you're more, I don't want to use the word cautious, but you're more analytical. Maybe.
Right.
Because in my case, when you have so many failed experiences, you learn what works and doesn't. But
because of this whole parallel universe thing, it has me thinking though sometimes. Like, okay, so if you go, and I think it happens to people, you go through a period of time where just things aren't working for you. Like it seems like everything you tried just doesn't work.
Yeah.
but maybe like the month before that, everything was working for you.
Right.
Then you start to wonder, okay, did I slip into another universe? Because it seems like I'm the same me.
Right.
So everything that was working before, all of a sudden now is not working now. I've changed nothing.
Yeah. I mean, so if you want to really think about the parallel universes and the possibility that there's like multiple versions of ourselves, you have to wonder that. Yeah. Because in a different universe, you did it differently and you had a different outcome.
It kind of goes to, as a friend of mine, this Johanna. She's really into, I met her at the gym I used to belong to. Beautiful woman, married, so nothing going on there. But she's really into yoga. And she's really taught me, I'm sure you know this. I've always just looked at yoga as the stretching portion of it. Mm-hmm. But there's all the philosophical and spiritual
state.
Right. Yeah. And part of what she really believes in is that we are just, and it kind of goes along with parallel universes, that we are just here on this life in this version of you, and then when you die, and some people think we're really not even dying. You're just moving on to some
different universe. Yeah. And maybe listen, nobody's ever came back and said, "Hey, this was going to happen to you guys."
Well, yeah.
It's all, and that's the mystery of life, really.
But you do have those people though that have died for maybe 15 minutes. They think they've died for 15 minutes.
They didn't die. They're still here.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
They didn't die.
They didn't die.
No.
You can't. So that's the one thing you can't undo.
Once you die, you're dead.
Oh, do you know that for sure?
I don't, but I mean, you just look at what you see, and you have very few people die, and then come back.
But if we can be in different parallel universes and not know that we're in a different universe than we were yesterday,
well, we
could have died,
yeah,
and then come back as something else or somebody else and not know it. Right.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I think these near-death experiences they're starting the process of transitioning towards death, and somehow they come back medically. So they're close, but they come back.
Right.
So it's possible they're seeing things that are true, and like, because the what they all say is the white light. Everything they say is the same, pretty much.
Or is that because they've been told that because that's what they think they should see?
Well, not entirely. It could be, but it could also be maybe it's just a chemical bath your brain is released when you get to that point, and it's a shared experience. It could be a bazillion different things.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We don't know what we don't know, right?
We'll find out someday.
Well, maybe we don't, though. Maybe we don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if we're traveling from different universes and we don't know we're traveling, then we don't know that we're in a different. We don't know we're in that different universe, right?
Just I'm more worried about the congestion pricing.
Price of eggs. Has the price of eggs really gone up?
Yeah. Well, because you keep killing all the chickens. And you wonder.
That's another one of those things that I don't buy that at all.
That's a lot of people saying that.
Yeah, it's just another way to jack up the price on something.
Yeah.
Because, like, do we find like our geese getting bird flu?
No, because they're still crapping all over the yard around here.
So I don't hear the only birds or fowl, we call them fowl, are they in the fowl category? Are the people are the ones that we eat their eggs. Right. They're the only ones that are getting bird flu. Like a pigeon isn't getting bird flu, right? Yeah. It just happens to be that the only ones that you know what? I don't believe anything anymore at all. I hate to I believe everything you say. There's no question about that.
You're a smart man.
Right. Yeah. But it's just like politicians, the media that covers the politicians. Didn't you send me the video today where it was every politician or all the media outlets? Oh no, it was all the politicians that send out the same message.
They sent out this exact word for word the same Twitter or whatever you want to call it nowadays. X. Yeah.
And it is
talking about world leaders too. It wasn't like some underlings. Yeah.
It's getting to the point too. I think they feel like the rest of us are just so stupid or preoccupied that they can just do whatever they want to do. Well,
and the problem is, what are we going to do? Like, how you and I do?
That's an excellent point by you. That pretty much sums the whole thing up right there. We can be so knowledgeable if we want, but if they put a stranglehold on the whole system right now, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a phone call from Zelensky today. I'm looking for advice from me.
Yeah. Okay.
You should, but.
Here's our boy Murray Graham. Eggs are the same price. Murray's from Bramley or Brampton, Murray, where I grew up. Eggs are the same price in Canada.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have a different source. That's why it's here. I think most of the eggs are coming from Long Island, and they've killed like 100,000 chickens there or more, or something crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh God. ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would like to get a book someday. Brampton. Thanks, Murray. Murray's from Brampton, Ontario. That's right. Well, so where I grew up was out on the farm just outside of Brampton.
Yeah, it's the Brampton Battalion, right?
Yes, Brampton Battalion. They're more famous for their men's lacrosse team, the Brampton Excelsiors. I think.
Yeah, you were saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they would always play the Vancouver Salmon Bellies, or the some of the things for the national championship and the men's lacrosse.
Salmon Bellies. So you got to get a better name.
Well, I guess it is true. At least some of the names. Yeah, the Bramley
Trail Smoke Eaters.
Right. So you think, let's go around the national. Montreal Canadiens. Okay, Canadiens.
Makes sense.
Right. Detroit Red Wings. I guess the motor industry,
I think the first owner was a motor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Chicago Blackhawks. That's a native. I'm surprised they're one of the few teams.
Nobody's getting upset about that, right?
That's right.
It is by far the coolest.
Oh.
Yeah, chest plate. That is so cool.
Yeah. Right. New York Rangers, obviously Tex
he was Tex Straff or something.
Yeah, Tex Straff. Actually met
Tex Rickard.
Met his granddaughter at a Ranger event. She was very proud.
Right, yeah.
He came up and says, "My father he started the team."
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah. Who else are we missing there? Toronto Maple Leafs. So Canada Maple Leafs.
See, the one that confused me, Vancouver Canucks. As a kid growing up, I always thought Canuck was a derogatory term for somebody from Canada.
Nah. Yeah, that's good. Give a no. Calgary Flames. Where'd that come from? Calgary Flames?
Atlanta.
Oh, goodbye. Maybe a lot of people don't. Oh, we lost Mark again. It's 1:00. He's got his client. All right, everybody. I think we've covered a lot here today. So when you're drinking your extra virgin olive oil, you can feel sure that they haven't been pressed or whatever. So everybody have a fantastic week. If anybody sees Tracy Marie out there, let her know that we missed her. See you next week.